So we are starting onto the 70s conversion on the Camaro. We are getting an idea if we want to try to actually put this quarter panel, half panel on the whole car or just section piece it. If you look, we kind of done got the other side fitted. It just needed this wheel quarter section and needs a lower patch on that side, which we got from the quarter panel that we bought, the half section. So we're going to take that side and probably do it just like this, because it does need a drop panel installed. So anyway, that's enough of catching you up to speed. Let's go ahead and make that side look like this side. If you decided to put the whole patch quarter on, then good for you. We're going to do it in sections. So we're going to patch what we need and keep most of the OEM metal. It keeps the welding down and keeps the, more of the factory metal, which, these aftermarket panels, it's not 100% true to fitment, and it keeps your fitment better the less you patch on it and the less you change. So we are not putting a full quarter on this, well, half quarter. We are going to cut this down into a manageable section right here, just straight with a cutoff wheel, and then we're going to come back in and fit a panel up and see what we need to cut, and then take a time, just watch this video and you get the idea. So we went ahead, set the quarter panel up on some concrete blocks. What we're going to do is take off just a section that we're going to use to patch right here. And you can do measurements and make it straight as you can, but this is just the first cut, and you want to take more metal than you're going to use on the first cut. So we're just going to cut it right here straight, and then put it up to the car and see what we got.
Ready?
Yep. So now we are pretty well fitting the quarter panel, and we are going to be bringing it to right here pretty well. And you want to make sure it's a tight fit underneath here. Then you can go ahead and take you some self-tappers and run into this quarter to help hold it on. Get somebody to help, or use vice grips to clamp it on very tight. And we're just going to cut it down to semi-size, and then we're going to remove the old quarter that's underneath. So let's just go ahead and get some self-tappers and go from there. Some self-tapping screws and a drill. Get a buddy or use your vice grip clamp to get it held in place. Make sure it's level and straight and tight against the body. And let's self-tap it. That's fitting pretty good right there. Got it?
Yeah.
Here we go. Is that all the way up? Okay. And open that right here. Once you get some self-tappers in, now will be the time you can use a piece of tape and pretty well mark this out straight as you can get it. Cut around the tape and make sure you go to both panels. Make sure ain't nothing on the back side of this panel. Make sure they know lights. Make sure they know anything you can cut through that's important. No wiring, no fuel lines, nothing like that. But all the wires for tail lights come through on the driver's side. This is passenger side. Done checked everything. For me, this is good to cut. So let's go ahead and tape this off. Next step, once you get that cut, go ahead and take your panel off here. Now if you saving your wheel arch, we got a new drop panel, trunk drop panel, so we went ahead and cut through both panels because that is bad a little bit up on that wheel arch, so we're going to be replacing that. We're going to go ahead and take these out with a drill and remove everything, and then finish removing this quarter, which if you saving your drop panel, you have spot welds on the inside of this, and underneath this you can use a spot weld remover to pretty well removing spot welds. It drills them out. You can see we are through the panel now. There are a few spots you will have to deal with to take this loose, especially if you're doing this conversion. So you got spot welds on the inside of this fender well will need to be drilled out. Ours is actually quite loose and our drop panel is bad, so we probably won't bother with these. We remove the whole drop panel and all. On the inside of this panel is seam sealed and it's also spot weld, so you will need to remove this if you're replacing the whole quarter. But in order to make your 70 style taillights and panel to work, you have to cut every bit of that out, just like we did here. So you can just take a saw, cut around the edge and remove that whole panel, and then cut this section out, which we cut in that section will be another video, you know, because I need views and you need to watch. Okay, next step. On the back side, you just need to cut up, or you can cut that whole panel out at once. You can watch my other video. But we just went around the edge here and went ahead and cut this quarter panel loose. Now you should be able to pry it out. The drop panel is rusted out at the bottom. We have not got that removed yet, but we're going to replace the whole drop panel. So we pretty well going to just bend it down.
Okay. Bend it down?
Yep, it's rusty. You probably see the whole drop panel move.
Oh, that drop panel ain't too bad.
Ain't it?
Ain't as bad today.
You sure? Yeah, it's pretty well. Go ahead and bend it.
Well, you got it. It's gonna bend right here.
That's fine.
How much I got? All this.
You got the whole panel to here.
It's gonna bend here. Reach in there and cut it.
Well, we can cut the drop panel if you boys bend it down. Just be careful if you cut it like that.
Yeah.
Got a spot weld holding it like this.
There you go.
See, I knew it wasn't much of here because it was all eat out.
How you gonna cut that, Dane?
You can either cut your drop, which is eat out all the way up here onto the fender well, or you can
I got all this.
we build that. Yeah, it's had a patch put in it. It has had quarters and stuff put on it.
So let's see. This part here is patched. This one.
Yep.
Yeah. Nice factory. They patched that though. Yeah. All this here is patched.
Yeah.
Yep. I did a decent job with that though. It didn't come through paint, did it?
So we got a new drop panel. You could take it loose and spot weld it back in, but the metal's good up through there. We're just going to cut on this line here and butt weld it together. So what we're doing now is welding the drop panel on. We are pretty much just going to weld it straight across, weld it on. Try not to burn the metal too hot, you know, give it a few seconds to cool down. But we're going to tack this on, then we're going to probably seam seal it and everything before we go to the next step. The welds don't have to be pretty, they just have to be functional on this part. Now, if you want to, you could put the whole piece in, you drill the spot welds out. You know, it's simple to do. Well, not too simple, but you got a lot of adjustment and a lot of fitment issues if you do it that way. This way, you don't have as much fitment issues and you don't have as much error. Now, on the outside panel, you do want to take your time because you will warp your panel if you try to weld it like we do in the drop panel. The drop panel turned out great, guys. We did have build this wheel arch up a little bit higher like we did on the other side. We grinded down the high spots that was here, primed it, went ahead and undercoated it all. So it turned out very nice. The next step you will need to, before you put this on, remove this right here. Now I have a full video on this in the description below. So instead of making this video super long, you can go check this video out after you see me finishing installing this. So the next step, once you get this section removed, is pretty well to take the tape off where you cut this off. And you want to, well, that wasn't a very good tape peel off. been on a couple days. Take and size this to fit. So when you cut this off and you cut the backing panel off, this actually gap gets closer, so sometimes you have to take a grinder and trim this little at a time till you get the fitment you want. Now each car and the way you cut it will depend on your fitment. It is not going to be the same for every car. So that panel fits pretty good. It's going to need a little bit of adjustment. I'm going to do that off camera. Now I will have a full video on installing these panels while tacking them on before fully welding them on coming up shortly on my channel. So get subscribed if that's something you want to see. Tail panel removal video, if you skipped ahead and didn't hear me before, in the description below. As always, thank you for watching, and if you're doing a project like this in your backyard, let me know in the comment section. See you next time.